Hey there, Holly Perkins, and I am here today with the help and assistance of my very favorite Pomeranian, Sebastian. Is he just not the cutest thing ever? I love this dog so much, it's insane. All you dog owners, I know you understand. So today I want to talk to you about nutrition, and this is a really interesting conversation. When I was in my 20s, I had just gotten out of college. I have a degree in exercise physiology and nutrition. I was very educated, working with some of the world's most elite personal trainers, athletes, business people, leaders, thought leaders, influencers, you name it. I really was at the core of a wealth of information. And at the time, I had a lot of troubles. I felt terrible. I was battling depression. I had a hard time getting over extra body weight that I had on me. I was always exhausted. I was always constipated. I really was just a mess in my early 20s. And it's interesting because I was following what looked like a very healthy diet. My diet included whole grain bagels. It included lean meats. I was eating lots of nuts. I was eating peanut butter. I included some low-fat dairy. At the time, soy was very popular. So I was trying to wean off of beef and fattier meats and instead adopt more of a vegetarian type lifestyle. Therefore, I was eating a lot of soy. So all of these years later, after many tests, after a lot of elimination diets, after many cleanses, meeting with various doctors, it took me many, many years to really whittle and refine down exactly my metabolism and what works for my nutrition. All these years later, about 15 years later, I have discovered that one of the reasons why I felt so terrible in my 20s is because my diet was all wrong for me. And that's what we're talking about today. Is your diet healthy? We've come to understand that a healthy diet includes lots of fruits and vegetables. There is popular understanding that raw fruits and vegetables are the best for you, whole grains, dairy, low-fat meat. But the truth is, everything we eat has a metabolic effect and a chemical reaction inside of your body. And your body has its own personality. I often say to people, nuts are a really healthy food, right? Raise your hand if you agree with me. Nuts are healthy. Well, here's the deal. Nuts are not healthy if you have digestive issues. The same goes for dairy products. Low-fat organic dairy products seem to be a good source of calcium and protein for most of us, correct? Raise your hand if you agree with me. Not if you're allergic to dairy, or not if you have a sensitive digestive system that's really responding to either the hormones or even just the proteins that are in dairy. It's really important to look at your health, your diet, and your metabolism to determine what is right for you. I'd like to use myself as an example. All these years later, I found that nuts really aren't that great for me. My digestive system does not like having to break down essentially tiny little rocks. I do better if I stick with almond butter or cashew butter. Peanuts, no bueno. Corn, terrible for me. Wheat, soy, and dairy are awful in my system, and it's taken me a very long time to determine this. You might be asking yourself, okay, Holly, this is great information, but what about me? What do I do? Today, what I want to share with you are two approaches. First and foremost, there are certain foods that tend to be problematic for a lot of people. So if you have some lingering health issues that bother you, it could be fatigue, it could be aches and pains, it could be poor energy during your workout, maybe you don't sleep great, maybe you've got strong brain fog in the afternoon. Stop for a moment and think, do I have any funky symptoms that just don't jive right for me? A client that I work with, despite having a great diet, her tummy is always bloated. And we know that there's something going on in her digestive system that's leading to that. So we're on a path to try and figure out what it is. So I want you to first take an assessment of, are there some lingering health issues that you want to address? If not, and you feel great, you can go ahead and just hit pause and skip the rest of this video. But if you do have some things that you want to work on, listen up. First and foremost, we're going to go over the category of foods that are often problematic for a lot of people. When someone comes to me in my coaching practice and they are having issues, there are a few foods I immediately go to and I ask them to either eliminate or minimize. Number one is gluten. While you may not be allergic to gluten or actually have a gluten problem, most of us don't do so great on it. I was the perfect example of it. I do not have celiac disease. I was not having any of the diagnosable diseases related to gluten, but as soon as I took it out of my diet altogether, miraculously, I felt a whole lot better. And I have found most people find that same thing when they take gluten out of their diet. Number two, of course, is sugar. Minimize sugar as much as you can. When I am referring to is additional sugars, sugar, candy, maple syrup, sugars that might be in soda or in any sweet foods that you are eating. I'm not referring to fruits here. Today, we're just talking about sugar. Obviously, you want to cut back on alcohol. Another big food that really is problematic for people is dairy. I don't want to get into exactly why it is, but if you're having digestive or skin issues, dairy is a good one to either cut out or cut back on and see if your symptoms change. Corn is a big one. Soy is a very big one. So essentially, you want to eliminate as much of that from your diet as you can. Wait 3 to 6 weeks and see how you're feeling. Slowly you start to add some of those foods back in to see if you have a reaction. Now, another way to approach this is to watch how your body responds after certain meals. Are there times when your symptom is really predominant and noticeable? If so, stop for a moment and think, what did I have for breakfast? What did I have for lunch? What was a meal that I had today or yesterday that could be contributing? Unfortunately, there really is a lot of trial and error when it comes to this, but over time, you'll start to see the patterns. And that is why I always tell people, just start with these heavy hitters, minimize them, or at least cut back in your diet to see if you feel any differently. That's really the best way to go about it. Now remember, everyone is different and your body is unique. I hope this information helps you, but please know you really do have to try and see what works for your body. And this is the kind of information that I like to bring to you in these weekly email updates. So make sure you stay tuned for future updates. You can sign up for my free email updates at hollyperkins.com. They come out every other week. I would love to hear from you. Is this information helpful? Is it familiar? Or is it just adding more chaos to your confusion? I know there's a lot of confusion around this topic and diet, and I'm trying really hard to make it as condensed as possible to help you, but I would love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, share your comments. You can leave all of that below, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for being with me, and dear Sebastian, we'll see you next time.